Hello, everyone. So I've got this fancy dancy microphone. Hopefully it'll stop the ring. And I bought a wireless one. So if we ever go back to the classroom, I'll have a wireless microphone so I can walk around and, I don't know, talk. Anyhow, let's get on with the lesson. Lesson 6, writing and solving equations. So we're going to transform equations into simpler forms using the distributive property. We're going to learn that not every linear equation has a solution. So there's two standard types of equations we should have learned in 7th grade, and I know we didn't get to it too much, but those two types of equations are, if I can find my pen, we have y equals kx plus a constant, right? So we have the coefficient and the constant, and then we have a distributive property, which would be y equals k times x plus c. We used p, r's, and q's and stuff last time, but I think this will work fine. Now, notice if I distribute here, then I end up with y equals kx plus k times c, which would just be a constant. So basically, if I distribute, I go back to this equation. So there's only really one equation, but it does look different. And the other thing is, I can divide both sides by k, and then I get y over k equals x plus c. And again, y over k just is, should be a number. Okay, so I don't want to confuse you too much with that, but we're going to transform equations using the distributive property, so we're going to play around with that a lot. All right, so we know how to transform equations into simpler forms using the distributive property, and we know that there are some equations that do not have solutions. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to simplify equations with the distributive property, and we're going to find out what it looks like when an equation has no answer. So let's solve this equation. 4x plus 3 times the sum of 4x plus 7 equals 4 times the sum of 7x plus 3 minus 3. So what's the best first step on this, right? So PEMDAS says, hey, you know what? I don't like parentheses. Get rid of them. Okay, let's get rid of the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute 3, and I'm going to distribute 4. Why? Because I like to. So 4x plus 3 times 4 is 12x. 3 times 7 is 21. Equals 4 times 7 is 28x. And 4 times 3 is 12. And then minus 3. So we have distributed. We still have x terms all over the place, but we got rid of the parentheses. So what's our next step? So really, we learned last week the 5 steps. And the first step was distribute if necessary. So the first step in solving an equation is distribute. Second is going to be combine like terms. So what are my like terms? I have a 4x and a 12x. That gives me a 16x plus 21 equals, in here I've got 28x, and 12 minus 3 is 9. Okay. Now I'm going to move stuff left and right by using the properties of equality. So I like my numbers to be positive, and this is 16x, and that's 28x. So I'm going to subtract 16 because it's smaller. So minus 16x on both sides. That means I'm going to get the 9 over there. So I'm going to subtract 9 and subtract 9, right? So 28 minus 16 is 12x. And 21 minus 9 is, what is that? 9, 10, 11. So that's 12. 12 plus 9 is 21, right? These are gone. These are gone. Now the last step is going to be usually divide if necessary. And so I'm going to divide by 12. And I have x equals 1. Go back and check. So 4 times 1 plus 3 times the quantity of 4 times 1 plus 7 equals 4 times sum of 7 times 1 plus 3 minus 3. So multiply by 1 doesn't change anything, so I've got 4 plus 3 times, so that's 4 plus 7, which is 11. 7 plus 3 is 10, so I've got 4 times 10 minus 3. 4 plus 33, that's 37. 40 minus 3 is 37. So I've got 37 equals 37. So I have solved using my 4 steps, and I have checked. Let's move on to the next problem by clicking the correct buttons. Oops. Oh, look at that. I did all the work. Didn't have to write it all. Well, there you go. When you look through this deck, you can see all the work. X equals 1. Did I check it? I did check it. There's all the answers. Oh my God, I am so smart. All right, equations with distributive properties. So what is our first step now? Well, judging by the last one, I'm probably going to distribute this 1/2. So a half times 4x plus 6. So that's a half times 4x plus a half times 6. And then that's a negative sign. That's basically saying the opposite of this. So what's the opposite of 5x? Negative 5x. What's the opposite of plus 9? Minus 9. So distributive property, a half times 4x plus a half times 6 minus 2 equals negative 5x plus a negative 9. Half of 4x is 2x. Half of 6 is 3. We still have the minus 2. Didn't do anything on the right side. I am going to, I'm just moving stuff. So I didn't even bother combining these. Well, I did combine these. 3 minus 2 is 1. So I did that in my head. And then I'm going to move stuff around by adding, I'm going to add my 5 on both sides, and I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides because I like positive x's and don't care about the numbers. So 2x plus 5x is 7x minus 10, right? Negative 9 plus negative 1 is 10, negative 10. Divide both sides by 7, x equals negative 10x. Check by putting everything back in there. A half times 4 times a negative 10x. 10 over 7 plus 6 minus 2. Negative 5 times negative 10 sevenths plus 9. So that's a half of 40 over 7, which is negative 20 over 7. 50 over 7 minus 9. All right, so negative 20 over 7 plus 1 equals 50 over 7 minus 9. Negative 20 over 7 plus 1 is plus 7 over 7. 57 minus 9 is minus 63 over 7. Negative 20 plus 7 is negative 13. 50 minus 63 is negative 13. So I have a negative 13 over 7. So it is correct. All right, let's take a look in the equation with no circles, no solutions. I started with 36 minus x squared minus 3 equals 4 minus 18x plus 30. So what did I do? I moved the numbers next to each other. So I got 36 minus 3 minus 18x, and then the 4 plus the 30 minus the 18x. Added 18 on both sides. So 36 minus 3 is 33. 18x is gone from both sides. 4 plus 30 is 34. So on the left, I've got 33. And on the right, I've got 34. They are not equal. There are no solutions for this. No matter what I put in for x, it doesn't matter because basically down here, the x's cancel each other out. All right, so try some of these on your own. Tell me if they are they have a solution or they have no solution. Okay, I am going to, there we go. Why are you so weird? Thank you. My computer is so slow when I am presenting the video. But I'm not going to give you the answers to these questions. Those are on you. I might put them in the slide deck a little bit later. All right, so we know how to transform equations into simpler forms using distributive property. We know that there are some equations that do not have solutions because we transform equations into simpler forms using the distributive property, and students learn that not every linear equation has a solution. So I'm going to ask you some questions on that, but if you're watching live, I'm going to solve some of those equations that I did not solve before and leave them in here for people to check.